What's going on, my fellow A-pluses? It's your boy Adam Perez back once again with a brand new video today. As I feel like this is the week of 8-minute extended looks at some upcoming projects. Earlier this week, we wound up getting ourselves a 8-minute look at Kraven the Hunter, and today, The Lord of the Rings: The War of the Rohirrim, the upcoming animated film that's set to go ahead and drop December 13th as well, dropped an 8-minute extended sneak preview also to give us a little bit more insight. Now, for those of you who are curious, tickets are in fact on sale for this. If you're eager to get back into the world of the Lord of the Rings, like I certainly always am, this is probably a prime opportunity for you guys, regardless if you are fans of the Rings of Power or not. I definitely know Peter Jackson and some of his co-writers and producers are very much sort of executive producing this animated film, or at least being creative consultants, if you will, in regards to bringing this to the big screen. And so I'm really eager to kind of see the concept and the idea of an animated Lord of the Rings film on the big screen once again. You can check it out in IMAX or even Dolby Cinema, whatever you guys certainly prefer. But after watching the 8-minute sneak preview, I gotta say, I think this is gonna look incredible on the big screen. The bigger the screen, certainly the better, man. Because the first thing that really jumps out to me is the animation in here. It's so smooth. I love all the character details and style that they decided to certainly go with in here. So I'm definitely on board, man. But look, if you haven't had the opportunity to check out the 8-minute preview, I will go ahead and put a link in the description box below so you guys can go ahead and certainly check it out for yourself. The director that's attached to this, I personally am not familiar with, Kenji Kamiyama. When I look up some of his work, the most notable ones I think that I recognize right off the bat is maybe some work that he's done in Ghost in the Shell films. Also, 009. I feel like I've seen bits of that, or at least I've heard of that before, but I'm really not familiar with the gentleman's work. But from the first 8 minutes that we were able to see, moving, captivating, incredible. I like, how do you even direct animation? Like, is it the concept of you come up with the storyboards, how the cameras pan, like how you want to go into each scene? I don't even know how you necessarily direct an animated film, but from first glimpses in here, I really like all the shot selections. I really like the way that they bring sort of this animated world to life, quite frankly. There's a really great image in here of Helm Hammerhand as they're talking about, I don't want to say necessarily like a legend, but there's clearly like a rumor going around about him that has people shaking in their boots, like literally frightened. And the way that they showcased Helm Hammerhand in here, the emotions that it provokes is absolutely incredible. So I think this is going to be just amazing to watch, not just from an artist artistic standpoint, but also just the idea of like how this is going to be directed, and how these particular scenes are certainly going to hit us. So Kenji might be onto something here. I just find it fascinating that this is the route that they decided to go. For those of you who are not familiar with the War of the Rohirrim, it is in fact inspired by the history of Rohan, which was highly showcased to us in the Two Towers, if you will. So there certainly will be some connections in here. Specifically, this is the story of Helm Hammerhand, as detailed in the appendices for J.R.R. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings. So it's definitely going to be a Helm Hammerhand story, along with clearly his daughter and whoever else is part of the Rohan family at this particular point in time. So just looking at how this 8 minutes come through, I am curious if this is the first 8 minutes of it, if they've kind of if this is meant to be like the first 15 minutes, if you will, but they've kind of cut a couple of scenes here and there out of it. Is this how the movie really begins, or is this later in the film? That I really don't know. But I am fascinated to kind of see how they bring those stories to life, because the appendices, for the most part, are not fully fleshed out stories. I feel like it's usually like details or highlighted points and moments. And you've got somebody that is very familiar with working with Peter Jackson in what's her name? Philippa Boyens. I believe she might have been one of the co-writers with Peter Jackson on The Lord of the Rings. It's also written by Jeffrey Addis and Will Matthews. So there's clearly going to be some filling in of the blanks, if you will, with this particular story. But I am kind of curious if this story that's being told is what will eventually give something like Helm's Deep its name that we wind up seeing in the Two Towers in here. Seeing Helm Hammerhand sort of make his stand, if you will. But I got to tell you, as little of Helm Hammerhand that we see in this first 8 minutes, I'm already a fan. Like I'm already a fan. The way that they certainly are presenting him, it's almost like he's like a one-man army in regards to going out at night, killing the enemy, and the way that you see his enemy just absolutely terrified of what's going on. They almost don't believe Helm Hammerhand is even human, right? Like they refer to him certainly as like a wraith that is very familiar in the Lord of the Rings work, but the way that they present him to us in the 8 minutes, I almost get more like a White Walker vibe from Game of Thrones, like this unstoppable force that just literally is overpowered, over strength, ripping people in half and just killing them off just absolutely miserably. And so the way they present Helm Hammerhand in here, and just like from a drawing perspective, how huge and just how massive, like he just has a gravitas on screen. Like you do not want to mess with this guy. So I'm already a fan of how they've certainly presented Helm to me in this 8 minutes that we wind up getting. It'll be interesting to see how his daughter Hera kind of eventually takes this step of maybe being like the main protagonist of this particular story. How her story, in the sense of having to take on that responsibility and be a leader for these people, how that certainly plays itself out. They even have a really cool little glimpse in here of some orcs almost like searching the bodies of the dead people and maybe collecting rings. They even talk about the idea of Mordor looking for rings in particular. So it does make me think if Sauron is out there, whoever's out there is trying to find maybe all the rings. Like I am kind of curious as to like the timeline of this. Have the men of this world already been given those rings? Is that what Mordor is looking for? Are they trying to acquire the rings that maybe men have at this point? So I am kind of curious if they'll emphasize that a little bit more, if there's going to be any nuggets of information to give us a better clue in regards to that, even though I believe this is years and years before something like the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I just love this bigger world in general of J.R.R. Tolkien and just how it's all thoroughly connected, and I definitely expect the writing to certainly be there. So first impressions, man, I'm really excited. Like it's to the point now for me where I was cautiously optimistic or cautiously intrigued about something like a Kraven the Hunter, which also drops on December 13th. And now I'm scratching my head as to like which project do I actually want to watch first, and which one do I want to wait for like a couple of days or a week and then go see, because both of these look really fascinating to me. I think I'm much more invested in the War of the Rohirrim just because of the fact that I do love the world of Lord of the Rings, and I thought this was an incredible sort of first impression. And again, I think the idea of it being animated and on the big screen truly separates it from anything else, and I want to see how as impactful and as memorable and as much as I connected with the characters from Peter Jackson's trilogy on the big screen, can they do that sort of thing in an animated form in one movie? I guess time will certainly tell, but I'm really looking forward to it. But guys, if you haven't checked out the 8-minute extended preview, do yourselves a favor and certainly check it out. And in the meantime, let me know your thoughts in the comment section box below, because at the end of the day, these are just my A+ opinions. I want to know yours. What did you guys like about this extended look? Let me know your thoughts. But until then, do me a big favor, as always, guys. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and keep it A+. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.